Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's me, hashtag RDM Russell Devin McLain. I just want to remind everybody that today's show is powered by Gamefly.com. Sign up for a free premium 30-day trial specifically for you, the listeners of Backstage with hashtag RDM. All you have to do is just visit GameflyOffer.com/backstage to start your free trial today. That's GameflyOffer.com/backstage. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be joined by Jimmy Fortune. He's got a brand new album out. It's called Hits and Hymns. He's going to tell us a little bit about that. He's going to talk a little bit about the Statler Brothers, their retirement, and what he has going on this year, and all kinds of other great things. With all that said, let's go ahead and kick the show off, and we'll be right back with the one and only Jimmy Fortune. Don't go nowhere.
This is Radio Random Network. Find us on the web at www.radiorandomnetwork.com.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes.
You're backstage with hashtag RDM on Radio Random Network. Now here's the host, hashtag RDM, Russell Devin McLain.
All right, we're back here with Backstage with hashtag RDM on the Radio Random Network, and today's featured guest, he's been touring with the Statler Brothers and performing and singing with them for over 21 years, and he's here today to talk about his brand new album, Hits and Hymns. What a pleasure it is to talk to the one and only Mr. Jimmy Fortune. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing fine, Russell. You doing okay?
We're doing good. We're down here in Louisiana. It's a little cold. But other than that,
I tell you, it's really cold up here in Nashville. It was even colder than that when I left Virginia yesterday. So I know I feel for you, buddy. I feel for you. I feel your pain. But it's that time of year, I guess. I can't wait for warmer weather myself.
Oh yes, sir. That's us. We're used to the heat down here. So.
Oh, I know.
With all
I like it down there.
Go ahead.
One of my favorite places.
Yes,
that's
indeed.
One of my favorite places down. I love to come down there.
Oh, yeah. Well, with that said, Jimmy, before we get into talking about the new album and everything, I just want to ask, how big of a role did music play in your upbringing?
Well, it was pretty much a lot of it because my family sang in churches as I was a little boy. We sang in churches and things like that. And then when I got my first guitar when I was 12 years old, I started learning how to play the thing and sing. And I told my dad if I can learn how to play and sing at the same time, I'm going to make a living at this. And he said, well, don't get carried away now, son.
Yes, indeed.
But anyway, I put together my first band when I was 13 years old, I guess. We went out. We played the elementary school. We made $1 a piece, and I told my daddy, I said, I'm on my way, Dad.
Not much has changed.
So then eventually it led into me playing clubs and things like that back in Virginia through the years, and then churches also, and playing all over Virginia. And then when I was 26 years old, the Statler Brothers hired me to come sing with them. To make a long story short, Lew DeWitt heard me singing at a local ski resort up there in Virginia. It was Thanksgiving 1981, the night before Thanksgiving, actually. And he heard me singing, and I met him that night. And then he was going to be out for he had Crohn's disease. He was going to be out for about 6 months for surgery. And he was I told the Statler Brothers he was going to be out. And he said, my name was the first name out of his mouth when he gave him somebody's name that he thought could fill in for him. So the rest is kind of history, I guess you might say.
Now, you're talking about with Lew DeWitt, when he found you singing and he brought you up to take his spot at the time. Now, he was supposed to come back? He was supposed to return to the Statler Brothers, correct?
Yeah, he came back after 6 months. He came back for about a week, and then he came to me and said he just didn't think he could take the road like the Statler Brothers liked to travel back then. And he asked me, he said, if I'd do it full time. And of course, I said, I'd be an idiot to turn this down. So
right.
I told them I'd stay with them until they decided not to do it anymore, and I did. So
yes, indeed.
And they've been retired for 13 years now. The guys are doing great, though. I was just up in Virginia visiting with them, and they're doing well and enjoying their retirement. And I always wish they'd come back out and do something, But they decided to retire. They really meant it, and class act guys.
Yes, indeed. That's awesome. Now, you were talking a while ago, we're going to rewind for a second, because you were talking about growing up in Virginia and getting a guitar and telling your dad you were going to be do this for a living and everything, but you kind of gained a reputation around your county there for being one of the most versatile performers of the area, because you would play like country, bluegrass, and rock and roll. You were versatile in just about any genre. Is that correct?
Well, we had to play clubs, and when we did, we had to learn everything. We had to, kind of like what you call a cover band, I guess.
Right.
And we did everything from Rocky Top to Shake Your Booty to How Great Thou Art.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, we did it. We did a little bit of everything. We even had an Elvis show. And at one time I had a 9-piece disco band. And we did an Elvis show along with it right after Elvis passed away. And we would sell out every night, and the women would just go crazy. And my cousin Dee Dee dressed up as Elvis, and when he would come to the door, you really thought it was Elvis. And I mean, he would, when he get to stage, almost all of his clothes were ripped off. So it actually scared him. He had to quit doing it because it got so scary.
Yes,
but we liked all kinds of music. We really did, and I still do. I think there's two kinds of music: is good and bad.
Well,
and I can learn from everything.
All right, what we're going to do right now is going to take a small pause for a worthy cause. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more to Jimmy about the brand new album and much, much more. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, before we get back to the show, I just want to send a huge shout out to one of our many sponsors. I'm talking about Amazon. That's right. Amazon helps support the Radio Random Network, and you can do your part, because every time you shop with Amazon and use our link, RadioRandomNetwork.com/Amazon, they kick a little bit of money back to us to help with production costs, web hosting. You get the picture. They help pay the bills around here. So next time you go to shop with Amazon, just go to RadioRandomNetwork.com/Amazon. Bookmark the link so you can use it every time you shop. And every time you shop with Amazon, they throw a little bit of money back to us at no extra cost to you. Be sure and shop with Amazon and help support Radio Random Network to keep these shows free for all of our listeners. Now, back to the show.
This is Radio Random Network. Find us on the web at www.radiorandomnetwork.com.
Sitting here talking to the one and only Jimmy Fortune with hits and hymns. I mean, you got a mixture of some old traditional gospel hymns, but you also have some of the newer stuff. But with that said, can you give us a little inspiration behind the album?
Well, Ben Isaacs produced it, and he's such a great person in the first place, and he's a great producer. We sat down to put it together, and he said, well, it's got to have some hits on it, like Elizabeth and Too Much on My Heart, and More Than a Name on a Wall, which was big songs for me, and then a song called I Believe, which I wrote kind of inspired by my mother's passing. And then there's another song on there that's the only really new song on there. It's called If I Was God. And with the premise of the song really being, it's a good thing I'm not God, because I just mess it up. Because when you see that title, your alarm immediately goes off, I think, when you see a title called If I Was God. So, but the song really came off the way we wanted it to. The whole idea of it is it's a good thing that I'm not God, because I really would mess up everything. So, but how many times have we all asked that question? But then there's also some old hymns on there, like How Great Thou Art, Amazing Grace, Victory in Jesus, Far Side Banks of Jordan, which is a great old song written by Gary Smith, and Victory in Jesus, like I said, and then In the Sweet By and By, which I have a lot of guests on there. In the Sweet By and By, Danny Vincent sang on that with me. Ricky Skaggs and Sharon White sang on Too Much on My Heart. Vince Gill and Sonia Isaac sang on How Great Thou Art with me. The Oak Ridge Boys sang on Life's Railway to Heaven with me. Then you have the Gaither Vocal Band, they're on there, the Isaacs.
Wow.
Singing. And so it's packed with a lot of star power there as far as my friends go that came along to help me out. And I just felt very honored that they would even consider singing on the CD with me, and I really appreciated it. And the CD, with, of course, with Ben Isaacs producing, Bill Gaither behind it and pushing it, you can't lose with that combination.
Yes, indeed. No, you can't. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of star power on there. It's very good, CD. And it's also a DVD as well, correct?
Yeah, we went to Bill after we did the CD. We listened to it, and he said, "Why don't y'all come to my studio? We'll do a DVD, a live DVD on this." And so I took my group up there, my singers and all, we did a live DVD from Bill Gaither's studio. And I have Sidney Perry singing with me, and Mike Rogers is on there as well. Mike sings with a guy named Craig Morgan, but he also sings with me quite a bit. Sidney Perry sings with me, but she also sings with Carrie Underwood. And then, of course, Ben Isaacs sang and played, and Bill Gaither came in as a guest with us on some of the songs on the DVD, and he also does the interview with me, about my life and everything, and kind of how I came up in Virginia and how I came to be where I'm at today through the grace of God, because, after being with a group like the Statler Brothers, the most awarded act in the history of country music, and then going from that into a solo career and having this kind of project out right now, I just thank God for the opportunity and to be able to have it out there.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, you got a lot to be thankful for as well. I mean, you don't hear, you may hear it sometimes, but a lot of times when you come from a powerful group like the Statler Brothers, like you did, and then you're going and you're doing your own thing, your solo thing, but you're doing great with it. I mean, you got, what is it, top 10, you landed on Billboard, top 10 with this album, correct? And was that your first time?
First time on top 10, anything of mine to hit on the country charts, and also number 1 on Southern Gospel, and it was number 6 on Christian Contemporary, and then the DVD was number 1 on all genres across the board in Billboard.
Wow.
So,
after, you've done this, and you go back to it when we started this conversation a while ago, and you told your dad, I'm going to do this for a living, and the first gig you did, you made $1.
Yeah.
And you fast forward to the present, and your DVD and brand new album, you're on Billboard. How does that make you feel, man?
Well, like you said before, I feel blessed. I feel like God got me through a lot of things in my life, because God knows I wasn't perfect in my life. I messed up a lot along the way, but He had mercy on me, and He's helped me through a lot of things in my life, and given me this opportunity. I've had a lot of God things happen in my life, even despite myself. Even when I was wrong, He still helped me. And I owe that to my mama's prayers. I think my mama's prayers got me through a lot, and they're still being answered right today. And I feel those prayers, and feel her presence with me, and my father as well. They both passed away, but I sure do feel them with me, and not only that, I feel my family with me on this, but I feel my fans have stood behind me. A lot of the fans that came from the Statler Brothers days, because back when we had the Statler Brothers show and we were doing the touring, we left a lot of fans out there who had a void that wanted to hear something, at least something from the Statler Brothers, and I guess I'm the only thing that's left right now of the Statler Brothers. I said, some guy said the other day, he said, "Man, things are really getting bad. The Statler Brothers are down to 1."
Yes, indeed.
But I'm still trying to be, and I am an ambassador for the Statler Brothers, because they did so much for me, and I always will be. But I'm very thankful for a career now here on my own.
Yes, indeed. Well, Mr. Jimmy, it was an honor and a pleasure to sit here and talk with you today, my friend. And I can sit here and talk to you all day long and hear those stories. And with that said, for more information about Jimmy and to find his new album and everything, all you have to do is get on the World Wide Web and go to www.jimmyfortune.com. You'll find all his tour dates and his social media links and everything else there.
You'll see where you can buy that the DVD and the CD. They're all out there in all the major markets right now. So on Amazon as well, and CDs in Cracker Barrel, should be in Cracker Barrel. They've been selling out, so they've been hard to keep them in there. But and then, of course, Walmart's, Targets, and Christian bookstores. And also you can buy it off of Gaither. He's putting it on TV, selling it as a TV offer.
Awesome.
As well, so.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I don't want to take up no more of your time today, Mr. Jimmy, but down the road I want to get together and talk a little bit more with you and see where you're at in the near future. Mr. Jimmy, thank you so much.
Good, buddy. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
I appreciate you calling in and giving us a little bit of your time, man. And wish you the best of luck for the the rest of the your album and your tours and everything. And we'll catch you when you come down here to Louisiana.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you there, Mr. Jimmy. We'll talk to you later.
God bless you.
Big shout out to Jimmy Fortune. I just want to plug everybody. I'm not sure who we're going to have next week, but I do know that on January 26th, we're going to be joined by the legendary Lori Morgan. We got some big names coming up, and you can keep up with that by going to RadioRandomNetwork.com and signing up for the newsletter. You can get a monthly newsletter from us. It's going to have all the things about who's going to be on the show, all information about who's going to be on the show, new shows that are going to be debuting, and so much more. So be sure and sign up for that. And with all of that said, don't forget to tune in Friday for the Russell and Mudtooth Show. Before we go today, I want to thank each and every one of you for hitting the play button on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Player FM, TuneIn, wherever you're listening to us from. Thank you so much, and it means a lot to us. Don't forget to rate and review the show on iTunes, because when you rate and review the show on iTunes and subscribe to us on iTunes, that helps get us discovered. It helps, put us up in the rankings. We don't get no big prize or no big check for that. We just, it's good to know what you guys think. An honest rating and review would be great on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. And we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today. But before we let you go, got one more special offer just for you. I'm talking about Audible Trial. Today's show was also brought to you by Audible.com. You can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/RDM. Audible has over 180,000 titles to choose from for iPhone, Android, Kindle, and MP3 players. audibletrial.com/RDM to get your free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. Thank you so much for listening today. And I'm #RDM at Russell Devin McLain, and you've been listening to Backstage with #RDM on the Radio Random Network. Thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next Tuesday.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Central Standard Time for a show created for musicians and music lovers alike. Backstage with #RDM. For more information about the hosts, guests, or our other weekly programs, visit RadioRandomNetwork.com.
Thanks for listening.